It's us. It's Hashi and Seth on VFX and Chill with Hashi and Seth. We didn't decide who was going to talk first, so I made the split decision that we both should at the same time. Hashi, how are you this week, sir?
I'm doing very well, and I'm looking forward to watching a show where we break down Hollywood visual effects and try to put them back together again.
I am too. With us, as usual, is our pal Michael. Michael, what are you looking forward to today?
I'm looking forward to taking apart Hollywood visual effects and also putting them back together again.
We're all excited about the same things, but actually, guys, I'm excited about one very special additional thing. Last week, we did a thing where we decided, hey, we watched the Jurassic World trailer and we're like, wow, this looks like several movies all crammed into one with dinosaurs in them. A big one was Mission Impossible. We thought there were several shots of Chris Pratt riding around on a motorcycle with raptors and stuff, and I had recommended
jumping over rooftops, all those impossible-y things.
And so my suggestion was, hey, why don't we put dinosaurs? Why don't we take shots from Mission Impossible and the Bourne Identity and just put raptors into them? And Hashi, your interpretation was, not interpretation, but your suggestion was
we replace Tom Cruise with a Velociraptor in Mission Impossible 6. So please, everyone, enjoy the world premiere of our finished trailer. We normally finish this stuff after the show. Like if we have to finish after the show, we put it on social media. This was so meaningful to us.
It's so meaningful.
This is one of, and I'm not joking when I say one of my favorite things I've ever been a part of. I don't think that I can overhype this enough. Just please enjoy one of our proudest moments, the premiere of our trailer for this movie that exists.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
You don't understand what you're involved in. Please don't make me go through you.
How did we do this? How did we do?
I don't know. This definitely studio equivalent.
It happened.
It did. Oh my gosh. I am so proud of this.
We're not even being sarcastic. We're legitimately proud of this. This brought us so much joy this week.
This did. The best way to bond with your friends is to replace a famous Hollywood actor with a Velociraptor in visual effect shots. And what I love is that we are actually doing a lot of really cool composite-y tricks. I mean, we rushed through the 20 whatever shots we had. And that title too, by the way.
The title is amazing.
It is amazing.
Oh man, it was a lifelong dream to be able to implement Tom Cruise into the Jurassic World logo.
Speaking of lifelong dreams,
my absolute favorite. Go ahead, Hosh. Sorry.
Well, no, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen or not, but we have a very special guest.
We do.
Seth, are they in the thing?
They are in the thing here. Please welcome our special guest to the show.
Welcome our great friend,
Mr.
Cruise.
How are you,
welcome.
sir?
Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a privilege. Please call me Tom. Where are you now? Are you in California? Where are you?
I'm in Tennessee. Hashi's in Canada.
Oh, yeah. All over the place. But do you know what we're going to show you today?
You don't? Okay, well,
I can't wait, man.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
That's fantastic. You don't understand what you're involved in. Please don't make me go through you.
So funny.
Oh my God.
Please give me some water. Oh, God, thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope we made you proud. Hey, you have a mug.
Oh, he got the mug.
Chill
Nice mug.
Oh my God, why hasn't anyone shown me that before? That is hilarious.
Oh, I mean, it's new. We just made it.
Just did it this week.
You can see when it's CG. You can see it.
I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, but it's like
That's
it's
an
meant to be dumb.
understatement, isn't it?
Yeah, look.
Pretty interesting. It was like, okay, wow.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, like I mean, we also love the logic of
Makes
like
total
sometimes
sense.
he's in a suit,
That makes
sometimes
total
he's
sense. That's excellent.
does.
you're a good listener, Tom.
That's incredible.
Really good
That is
listener.
absolutely incredible.
Well, thank you.
Team dynamic. The preparation for that. I mean, it's like, okay, wow.
Oh, that's all
intense.
Seth.
a lot of preparation.
Oh.
Absolutely. I mean, we're part of the Maxon training team. We love
Yeah.
to help others learn about visual effects and how to take on projects like this. So
You are impressive, and what you've accomplished thus far is absolutely impressive. Absolutely
thank you.
engaging, incredibly informative, and I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful also to all these people out there that are helping people, and just want to thank you.
Yeah.
Maxon training team. All right. Well, speaking of training, we got a lot of other stuff to do. So we're going to let our friend go. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you,
'Cause,
Tom.
yeah. So great.
Man.
Um,
That was amazing. We got him.
He just showed up.
He's such a kind person.
he's like you're the only person in the world when he's talking to you. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, there's only one person in the world who's talking to you. So this, I gotta say, I just have to point out some things. One more, I just gotta gush over some of our shots here real quick and just talk about that. I learned something about comedy this week, which is that if you all you ever have to replace is the head. That's the first thing I learned. Second thing I learned is that the reversal, the reaction shots are the funniest ones. These shots, I cannot stop laughing at shots of actors doing great work to a velociraptor.
Deadpan serious.
Yeah.
Full emotion.
And it adds this whole other dimension to this.
This one especially is so good.
She's so like emotional with her acting.
It's so good. And then the other one, I sent it to my brother. My brother was like, there is absolutely no reason why those those motorcycle shots should look so legitimate, like as if we didn't do anything to them. Like, this is the movie I need and want now. Oh my God. And that
Ving
one.
Rhames holding a velociraptor back from roughing up someone in a hospital.
Which one of you did this shot, by the way? Because
Hashi.
that light wrap looks so much like the actual light wrap in this scene. Like, you did such a good job
Oh my
matching
gosh,
that.
all super comp. It was so great.
Why isn't this not the Super Comp hero video? I think we should just, without explanation or context,
so.
put this at the top of the website.
Just this. Super comp.
With the Super,
Super
Comp
Comp.
logo over it. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. This one with the car you did, Hosh, with the, because you animated zero. You put zero raptor animation, like head animation or anything.
He's got a teeny bit of lip twitch, like just is all that's going on here. And in the back, Henry Cavill is like, I could have said no. I could have opted out. I could have been the one driving. There were so many decisions I made.
You
that
got
led to this
yourself
moment
here.
that I now regret.
I just want the whole car chase sequence of this where the raptor's head never moves and it's just Muppet arms. Like, God. By the way, I saw in the chat, Simon asked if the raptor breaks his ankle, and it does, right, Hosh?
It does, but so you have to put it down, but it's a clone. It's a clone.
Right.
It's
a clone. It's not a real raptor. It's just a cloned raptor.
Jeez, people get so attached to your CGI clones. This one, I hand animated the raptor. I took. I'm forgetting who made this amazing model of Blue. We mentioned it last week, but I took his rig and custom animated the scream because I knew it.
With the tongue and everything.
It's so wide.
Yes.
I think it was one of those things where it's like the result of like 2 keyframes, but then you lock the second keyframe, and so it tries to like smooth it out so it goes even extra wide in the middle here. And Seth, you called it that this shot would work.
I didn't know
well
if it
with
would
this
work.
Indominus shot. I can't believe how it just slugged right in there.
I think it works well because of your animation of the raptor, because the mouth is getting wider and wider and it's doing the shake and the tongue.
He's in.
Yes, it is like he thinks he's going to win this. Like he thinks he's going to come out of this victorious.
Oh my gosh. But instead, the audience wins, really.
Yep, the audience. And we tried out a bunch of different titles. Mission Impossible, Fallout Kingdom, Jurassic Impossible, Mishrassic, and
in the end, simplicity was our...
In the end, just like Stu Maschwitz has always told us about products and everything, say exactly what it does on the tin, and that's what this does on the tin.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know that was...
That was it. That's
very
the show.
strange.
No, it's not. Hey, what do you want to do today,
Yes.
Hush?
Speaking of strange, yay, you found it. And I've destroyed the momentum of it. I feel... as you might have seen from our absurd thumbnail this week, Seth and I are going to take a look at some of the effects that we saw in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. So,
Yes, sir. Let me
yeah.
see if I can get this thing
oh yeah, there we go. Look at
right
this.
size. So yeah, this is a fun little trailer.
It is. I have still not seen No Way Home?
Yeah.
Is that the last?
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
I haven't seen it either.
It's great,
Ugh.
guys. I'm
So-
sure it's
so I don't-
unspoiled completely still for you.
Perfect.
So
I love
there's
it. You get no idea what this will be about based on this, but there are lots of really cool, effecty moments in here.
Like a ton. Like I think the other day when we were talking about what could we do on the show, and we pulled up this trailer where we're like, oh wait, this is like 8 episodes. There's so much stuff in this, especially as we get toward the end here. Like this is cool. Let's just say what's cool that we see. That's cool.
Cool. That's cool.
Cool. Kind of
Neat.
cool. Really cool. I mean, walking in a room, do that. Actually, we never do that. We're sitting.
We do. We
This
should
is
make
it.
this a
This
walk
is
and
the
talk
one.
kind of show.
That.
Oh,
Hashi,
that is so
I want you to
cool.
do that.
And yeah, I think I have an idea.
Of course you do. That's the most Hashi, that's like a challenge to you. It's like whoever did
is.
this shot was like, do this. It was like, try this, Hash.
I know. Like if it were just splitting apart, like from like straight on, like a Total Recall style, I feel like that would be more straightforward. But this has got everything. It's got an amazing camera flying over the shape, so you really get to feel this, Rubik's cubification of. I don't even know what to call this. It's a really cool effect.
It is really cool. There's
And-
in brand. There we go.
Yes,
That's actually
which-
a real frame.
That
Even though
is.
you watched me
It's
make
like
it.
blink and you'll miss it, but they like to taunt us every now and then.
You can see the artist actually typing it. That's what if you play it at 1% speed. So
I'm going to attempt that today.
and I think I want to try this the shot where we fly into Wanda's face. Although I
Oh,
do
yeah.
wish I did kind of also want to try the bust. Well, what I really want to do is what I don't have the assets to do, which is that awesome eyeball octopus thing.
That looks amazing. It looks like it would be friends with the Suicide Squad starfish.
Yeah. And you know me, I love eyeballs. I love anything that is like a one single eyeball or multiple eyeballs. Like my hat has an eyeball.
Yeah, it's like the math equation is that to have one eyeball or greater than 2, and
100%. And so I'm actually, speaking of eyeballs, that's why I'm going to go to this shot because I think it's pretty cool. And I think I have some stuff I want to try. I don't think I'm definitely not going to make it look that good, but I do have some things that I think could go delightfully wrong on the show today by attempting this. So
Absolutely.
why don't we waste zero time and just dive right into it, shall we?
Let's do that. So, so what are we going to learn today, Seth?
Your PIN number? I don't know what's on your screen. Is everything good?
Whatever's on my screen right now. I'm moving and have all of my documents open, so I have all information laid out at all times. So I'm going to update this little list here because I forgot to do that.
Oh, yeah. What are we going to learn? A dot. We're going to learn about a dot. So we'll probably learn. Oh, go ahead.
I'm trying to type so it'll. It typed right into the show. That's so cool.
3D scanning. Yes, that's what I'm really excited about. We're going to use Polycam to scan our faces without people helping us. So that should be fun.
So that's all I had time to put in there. Is I know that we're going to 3D scan our heads, just to have an improved, a more production quality model of Seth and my head to destroy. I think you're muted there, sir.
Oh, I'm not saying anything.
Oh.
So I was just making mouth motions. Yeah, this stuff. But I was trying to think of what else. I mean, this is really the excuse me. This is really kind of the base of it. Like we're gonna try to 3D scan ourselves and try to integrate it like into.
Will we do some camera tracking? Maybe I could type that in there.
Yeah, sure. Camera tracking. I mean, the usual.
Might have to for your shot, Seth.
Huh?
The end of the eyeball shot, you might need to do a camera track depending on how you're.
Oh, definitely. Well, it depends on I've shot a test plate, although I might have to reshoot it. I don't know if the lighting might have changed in here.
You might just grab a kid and do it to a kid.
Well,
or have a kid do the camera work.
Place right now. Well, my kid who would do the camera work is like he's got a thing going on right now this afternoon. So
is union now and
yeah, he's union. I wonder if I can move my desk into my eye. No, that's not gonna work.
Well, what's cool? There was a really cool shot in Ready Player One that reminds me of too, where if you get a camera close enough to an eye, at some point the physical hardware of the camera won't be getting any parallax or translation like you're traveling further into it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I should find that shot.
So then I don't even need I don't need to scan my face, Hashi? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm telling you that you do need to scan your face because normally I think you would film this with a real camera moving toward a face. And then at some point, there's a digital takeover where you're either projecting the footage onto it or doing a complete digital takeover. So you can have a virtual camera fly closer and get more parallax than you'd be able to get with a traditional lens.
Okay. Well, good. Then I get to scan my face, which is really all I came here today to do. So, yeah. Michael, you're smarter than us. You got anything else we want to put on this list?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to make a joke about it. That's all we really cam here to do, and the face cam tracky stuff, but I didn't come up with anything.
Hey, I appreciate the effort as much as I appreciate the usual results. And
all right. Oh, Seth, I do have this clip up just from this is not from Multiverse of Madness, but it reminds me of this. From the Ready Player One trailer, there's this really cool moment where they let the camera
it's such a good shot.
Zoom right into here, and obviously it starts off as a real shot, like this is quite clearly an actor working, but then once the camera starts to do this, you've got to think about you couldn't fit here. It's practically between the eyelashes at this point, which is really cool.
Just no camera can possibly.
Well, and I'm really curious about the transition point, like how I've never really learned a go-to process that like a compositor or whoever's job in the pipeline that falls to how and when they'll do it, the transition. Like part of me is like, would they just keep him digital throughout here, or like? I
mean, whether it's the VFX soup or if it's the way Spielberg blocks out stuff because he's clever. So we've got a real actor, and then a super.
You son of a bitch.
Look at that.
That's
all
it.
Digital now. 100% digital now.
That's it.
Yeah. That's
real
hand wipes across the screen.
Hashi, did you call that right now? Did you just now call that?
So naturally, like perfectly blocked.
Did you just now call that, Hash, or did you read something before?
No, I've read about this shot.
Okay. then I hate you a little less. I don't hate you. I love you.
It's good
That's
though,
so great.
it's such good blocking because it feels so natural that his hand would go down and then up.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect way to hide the swap to the digital double. That is so good.
That's the kind of thing where I'm
think-
on set, and if like a VFX soup recommends that, or whoever's like, whoever I'm calling for advice, like it's like that's like my favorite thing in the world are these tiny little solutions. Just have their hand because they're performance based like tricks. It's like 100% just like it's great. I love it. I love making movies. I love freaking doing this crap. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. I'm going to just pull up our shots again over here real quick to try to see if we can.
I think while you do that, I'm going to see if I can actually share my Polycam feed.
Do you remember if the Wanda shot is after this? I'm playing this slowly through, but we've got this great pained face that just starts breaking into
the Wanda shot's after
cubes.
that. Yeah, that's there. It's so good. What was your question?
I like to have subtitles
Screaming.
on. Yeah, nice subtitles.
I love, we are now a pretty subtitle heavy house, and so my favorite are you've got crickets chirping, you've got Click's tongue, you've got
ominous synth drone or ominous synth music. We get a lot of that in our house. Click's tongue is one of the weirdest ones. It's like what?
I guess it is a part of the communication.
Yeah, it just it just said that Sinister Strange was saying something. So we've got multiple Stranges.
The worst.
Sometimes the character thing will.
The worst though is when, for some reason, they felt the need to include if a song is playing in a scene in a restaurant where the scene is, and they'll put the lyrics and intersperse it with the dialogue. Oh, that's one no stop trip to madness.
Okay. Oh, so here's your shot, Seth.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just 3D all around. There's no place to transition.
Yeah, so in this case, I would imagine that it's more like a projection situation where they've filmed a
I think
plate.
it's real. It's real up until it's just the real footage projected onto a digital model.
And I kind of think that only her face is real. I think that the
same.
body is entirely CG.
I agree.
And then, I mean, the face might as well be CG because I bet that by here we're just looking at projected.
Yeah, well, there's a clean line on the cut, like on her face cut.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go up close to where we can see both her eyes, as we get closer, resolution drops
half
on the
of
right.
her face could be digital. Yeah.
Resolution
So this is maybe projected, and this is some projection, but some digital blood, and the eye is a completely new model.
So I need a big face scar for this, right?
Yes, you'll need a big face scar that divides your head cleanly in half.
Okay, done. I'm just bleeding the whole show.
So we are going to use a product called, product app, whatever, called Polycam. I was trying to find their website is not very visually dynamic.
That's
so
Polycam. Hey guys, I'm gonna share I can do this thing where I can share my screen to my computer. I want you to tell me if my screen share in OBS still works when I do it. Ready? I apologize if the show stops broadcasting. Here we go. What can you see right now?
Oh, your screen's there. It's just way over there.
Way over there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the process of Polycam is what Seth is doing right now.
Half of your screen. Oh, now it's all gone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can set this up to where you'll see the whole thing. Just give me 1 second.
All right. Yeah, while Seth gets that set up, I am going to go ahead and open up the app, ignoring that little bit. So Polycam, it's lovely. You have a couple of different options right when you open it up. I'm just going to press this plus button. Let's do this while you're doing that. I'm going to try to capture my face in a slight pose of terror. I'm taking off my headphones and stuff for a second so I can get a clean just head here, and you'll be able to hear the the camera just taking a bunch of automatic pictures in the meantime. So here we go. Don't make fun of me while I don't have my headphones on, guys.
Let's see if I can. How do I do this?
Seth, Hashi's face is like perfect thumbnail material already.
It really is.
If you wanted a YouTube thumbnail to end all YouTube thumbnails, that's the one.
Seth screen.
All right.
You know, Hashi, it would be cool if they could invent some sort of device, like a stick, that you could put your phone on to take pictures of yourself. Might make stuff like that a little easier.
Some
I don't
kind
know
of.
if anyone's thought of that.
That would be a great idea. You wouldn't have to have your because I'm going to have all this moving around.
Yeah, stick for yourself, they could call it.
A stick up for yourself. That's my branding name for it.
Stick up for yourself.
Selfish stick.
Get a stick up, yeah. Wait.
What?
And
What's happening? All right, here we go. I'm going to try this screen share thing again. We're going to watch it happen. Polycam, I have no idea what personal information I'm going to be sharing with everyone today by accident.
We already saw Whirly Family Finances, so...
Oh, God.
There
That's
we
not
go.
good. Okay, what are we seeing?
There's
oh
it is.
yeah.
Hello. So I'm going to do photo because what this will do, this will allow me to take a whole bunch of photos and then it will upload to the cloud and it will create. Is this working still?
Man.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
working.
Here we go. I'm going to see if I can press the take the picture button and it will start automatically taking pictures. At least it should.
Oh gosh, something horrible happened to my nostrils.
I'm not really. Hang on. The mic's going to be part of this and we don't want it to be. So let's try this one more time.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and export this. Don't you love how our show starts off with this energy fueled
9 photos, 10 photos, 11 photos, 12. Taking a lot of photos.
Well, still don't laugh. You'd have to redo it.
23.
I can talk while
Nice.
it's looking right here.
Nice
Ooh,
logo.
Clever.
$45 photos, 50 photos almost. There he goes. G Minor in the chat is very excited and is typing in all caps that they are editing a 3D logo right now. So good on you, G Minor.
Nice. Is it G Minor? Is it for yourself or is it for a project or something like that?
Ooh, whirly jowls.
Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're gonna mess up the tracking. What's going on?
For those of you who are wondering why Seth chose to do photos instead of LiDAR, it's because the LiDAR works for room-sized objects and large things and not for small, detailed things. That is why he chose the photo option for this, because he's taking a photo of a human face with lots of small details instead of a large room-sized object like a chair or a couch.
And I can go and I can
exactly
just
right.
quickly delete these photos that I'm not going to use and keep all these wonderful photos I am going to use. Set it to full resolution and I'm going to upload and process. I'm going to wait for a second while this prepares and uploads.
Nice.
Have you
so while
tested
you
using-
wait for that to upload, why don't you get us back to our half and half
No.
setup?
The
Because right
audience
now I'm
likes
feeling
seeing all of
a
this.
little
No, I definitely
screen
will.
squeezed over here.
I definitely will. One sec. Sorry.
First of all, I love that
Speaking of-
this model already has its own form of just death. Like whatever. This is like a post Pompeii
God.
look. What I got going on here. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, just so I don't have to look at this, is open up the material manager, go to my material that came in, and I'll tell the viewport to just do no scaling on my texture preview right here. And that'll be a little better to begin with. Oh, yeah. I'm going to disable the reflectance so I can just see a straightforward face. I don't really need any kind of additional maps on here. No. Oh man, he's so bumpy.
That thing, when you orbit it, it's incredibly funny to me. When you get up close and just...
It's supposed to be an improvement on our previous things. It really does look like a Walking Dead zombie.
Yes, David Fairchild. Oh, G Miner asks, how much is Poly 3D the Polycam app?
Oh, great question. I got it a while ago. I don't remember. Look it up in the App Store.
There are a couple different purchase things. You can do like you can start with a 7-day trial or something like that, and then you can do a month or a year, and a month is like 12 or $13, and a year is 60 or something like that, and you can get all sorts of do as many captures as you want and do a bunch of exports in different formats. So that's what I'm kind of after.
I'm going to turn off my side real quick so I can share my screen with my screen again, so I can use my monitor as a monitor for my plate that I'm going to shoot of myself. All
Lovely.
right.
I am going to go ahead and switch to point mode and turn on my lasso and just start deleting. I love that I'm like, look at this. Look at this weird situation back here.
Yeah,
But-
you got a face in your back, like Voldemort. Or Squirrel, I mean.
There we are. Can't get those
Squirrel.
details wrong.
Professor Quirrell, I mean. Frigby Chillweather, who sounds like a character from Harry Potter, says, that Hashi on the screen there has seen things you couldn't imagine.
You couldn't imagine what I looked at the arc is I think what happened here. Now, this is all looking a little bit bizarre, so I'm going to go to my color settings and try to figure out why my material is doing this. Let me grab my all of my polygons and see which direction we feel like we're facing. Okay, so they are...
And if you too want to look like you've looked into the arc, there is a face melting template that Hashi has made for you that is free, and you can download it at the link Red Giant just posted in the chat.
Oh, please go melt your
Go melt the
faces
face.
and share them. Hashtag
It's free.
VFX and chill.
Assuming you have particular.
I was just turning on the polygon normals to make sure that I was feeling all normal. I like this. Look at this.
Oh, that's a good
Corn
look.
puff, Hosh.
That's a good look.
It is.
That's
I'm just goofing off right now with this model, but I am going to start trying to make it look a little bit better. So let's click to point mode, and let's go to mesh brushes. I'm going to grab this. Maybe we'll start with a grab brush. And whoops.
Plastic
Oh.
surgery.
Oh, I can see something happening right now.
Oh,
And this is a symptom of
Yeah.
first of all, this is a cool scene in the Poltergeist, but it's also a I'm so sorry, children.
wow. Kill me. It's just...
What's interesting is the
Undo
pieces
that.
you've moved, the texture seem... Anyway, you think you need to hit U-O, Hashi. Undo that and hit U-O on your keyboard. No, don't move your mouse. Hit U-O without moving your mouse.
Hey, do you guys have a favorite
And
360?
see if it changes now when you pull. Yeah, see?
Hey.
There we go. This
What Cinema 4D has a bunch of commands that you access by hitting one key to pull up a menu list of commands and then a second key. So it gives you a ton more keyboard shortcuts. So U pulls up a huge menu, which Hashi can demonstrate now by hitting U. Hashi, hit it U. And O is a command for optimize. And what that does is it tries to optimize the mesh. It removes any unattached points, and depending on what options you set, it'll weld points together that are right next to each other. So in this case, he had points that were right on top of each other, but were detached. So hitting U-O welds those points together and gives you a much more smooth Hashi face.
exactly.
Hey, do you guys have a favorite 360 camera app for doing? And I love if the chat has any recommendations for shooting like
An HDRI?
Yeah.
There's one I think that just called like 360 or something like that.
And it's really old and has like an iOS 4 interface.
It might be really old. I used to use something like it was like Microsoft Synth something.
Microsoft Ominous Synth Drone.
Ominous.
Oh, hey,
Synth
Hashi,
Drone.
the chat also suggests deleting the normal tag off of the model, and they
that's
say
a
that
good
does
idea.
also help improve some things frequently.
Oh yeah, there we go. So here we are back to lit properly, but my skin looks like it did
You might
in
need
junior
to use a
high.
smooth brush
so
a little bit
we're
on
gonna,
that, yeah.
Yeah, don't you wish you had this back in those days? So look at this. I'm just going to grab the smooth brush. Let's see how big that is. I don't know what scale this model imported at, but look at this. As I just kind of iron over this skin.
You're taking the "Hey, you guys" right out of it.
I am. Look at that. See? Beautiful.
CG Worm suggests using the Google Street app to make a 360 image, which is an effective way to get a spherical image of the shot. Not true HDRI because it's not a high dynamic range image, but it is a good way to get a reasonable 360.
I don't think the app I'm using is giving me true HDRI either, unfortunately.
Now, I am loving what this smooth brush is doing. So under mesh brushes, there's smooth. And depending on your settings, I turn it down to begin with or something like that. The size right now is 30, which seems to work pretty well for whatever scale I imported this model at. But you can see there are, these kind of jacked up areas like this. But running the smooth brush over them, I've got a little bit of a seam there. Enough. Let's see, how do we fix that? Do you think Optimize will get that right now or no? Nope, that's a little bit split still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a connect object. I'm going to drag the whole mesh into there. And on the connect object settings, there's this checkbox for weld. And you can kind of see it like really up close. When I check weld, you can see that there's this little crease right here that are basically, polys aligned almost exactly on point, but they're not connected to each other. So I'm going to click weld right there. And now I can tell that they're blended together. And I can just press C up here to convert that back to some polys. And then let's try to fix this forehead, man. Okay. We've got, I'm just going to try to fix it with a smooth brush because it's so fun when it works. Look at this. It's stretching some things in different directions, but it's certainly making this mesh a lot more optimized for what we need. And also, we're trying to do this quick and live on a show. So I'm still pretty impressed with this result. Let's smooth out this nose. Smooth out this. All right, so I've got the lips and the teeth kind of tucked in like that. I don't really like that. So I'm going to go to my grab brush, turn down the size, and I can have some fuller lips, and I can have a less
anything you want,
fish lipped right here. And let's pull out all of this is kind of at this point some artistic interpolation just to optimize this mesh. Now we've got these teeth. Let's go and grab quick to live selection, and I'll just draw a little line kind of along the top of where the teeth are textured there. And then I'm going to check soft selection, turn it on, and turn this radius way down. So I'm just grabbing the mesh kind of around the teeth right here. I'll turn the strength down. And Seth, I'm doing a lot of talking, so I don't know what you're doing over there.
I just imported my model into Cinema 4D. Oh, and it's doing something weird. The viewport. And I took a 360 with this old 360 app that I have that I'm going to try to use for some environment lighting. I shot a plate. I attempted to shoot a plate with my camera. And we're just going to see how this all comes together. I don't know if there's anything.
It's looking pretty cool. That looks like
a ceramic sculpture of Seth.
It
the way the
looks
lighting
like
plays
the raw
off of
data
it.
you'd get out of a, if you went to one of those real scanning stations. Like early, it looks like a Cinefex ad
Yes, it
for
does.
character scanning in 2002.
So I wonder if I can do one more Polycam, but like closer of my eyes to get a really high res.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Version of my eye.
Cody in the chat. Hashi is
chat.
not Canadian. He's actually from Uganda. He just moved to Canada recently. One of those things is true. Hashi, are you? You've got to practice that, man.
Hey, I'm
David
a
Fairchild
Canadian.
says that your scan, Seth, looks like you have dioxin poisoning. So go ahead and Google that, everyone.
God.
Hashi, if you have a second, there is a file from Noseman in the Slack for you.
Of course there is.
What?
There always is. Thanks, Noseman.
Thank you. What have we got?
I didn't just
Noseman
take over the
always
stream,
has
did I?
a lovely treat for us. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. What did he do?
I'm hoping it's his own face. That's what I'm hoping.
All right, so let's save that in 3D stuff. I'm going to be very upset if he just real quick did our effect in the background. All right,
Automated.
3D stuff. Wait, what is this?
I don't know, hit play and see what happens.
No.
Well, maybe move the linear field around then. All I know is it's a diced up face. Oh yeah, move that around.
What?
Nope. There you go.
Oh my gosh, there's that.
And that one. Yeah, move them both.
Oh my goodness, look at this. This is applying knowledge that you could have if you attend our Thursday Ask the Trainer meetings. They are on the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel. And just yesterday, we had an entire episode on effectors, which is wonderful. So go check out that video. Noseman and Jonas Pils take you through the... Look at this! Through the entire process of what
Dang.
all the different
Whoa!
effectors do.
He just did it.
This is lovely.
I like how you're like, this is the kind of thing you can learn. That's your nice way of saying, so if you want to actually learn how to really do things with these programs, watch Ask the Trainer.
And the link to the episode on effectors was just put in the chat by Red Giant. So thank you, Red Giant.
Thank you, Red Giant.
That sounds weird when you know that it's Michael.
Harry Frank is that the opening scene from Cube? Nice reference.
Yes.
That is really weird, Hush. It's done. Ship it.
Boom. Okay, so
You just need to scale Hashi up to match and you'll be good to go.
So I'm just throwing my mesh into here. Let me just quickly do realign this axis a little bit. What is it under now? It's under Tools, Axis Center. Let's align this to the world direction. And I think I'm pretty close to aligned to the world. Maybe a little bit more rotated this way would be helpful. And execute. Order 66. Boom, boom. Let's just put Hashi's head in the middle of these delightful fields from Athanasios Pozantzis. We'll drag down my mesh into here. I'm going to turn off that one.
What do you think? Should
my
I fly out of the eye, or because I shot my plate? Oh my God, Hush! I shot my plate in reverse so I could get the accuracy, like the aim of the eye, better at the end.
That's a really good pro tip, by the way, for if you ever need your camera to land on something specifically, film it backwards.
But
Start
now I'm
another
wondering,
thing and pull it away.
should I just make it a shot where we fly out of my eye? I know I can change it later, but I'm going to be, what should I work in? Should I work in the way the movie had it? Probably.
I would work with the way the movie had it. That way, when you're referring to it.
Time reverse layer. And here we go. I don't quite know how this is going to turn out. I wish I had a big face scar that I didn't have to add in post to try and
David
make it work.
Fairchild says, Quaid, open your mind moment there. And then helpfully says, it's from Total Recall for youngins like me who have no idea what he's referencing.
Well, if
I'm not 40 years old or anything.
So if you do not have immediate access to one of our amazing Maxon trainers who will build the project for you and email it to you while you're fumbling with optimizing a mesh, first of all, hit them up on social media and follow them there, because maybe then you can nudge them into doing work for you. But probably more properly, go to the Maxon Training Team channel and look at the knowledge that they spew out there in large quantities. I think that's the preferred term for our distribution of knowledge.
Hashi, Noseman has hopped into the chat to point out that instead of using the 3 end sides that he used in his example project, there's also a way you could do it using just a single matrix object instead of 3 end sides as a source for the Voronoi fracture.
That sounds like a sentence that Noseman would say.
Well, no, because if you use a Voronoi fracture in grid mode as your fracture object, because let me start over. When you first apply a Voronoi fracture, it automatically has a fracture source, which is a point cloud. And you can adjust the point cloud, how it's distributed and whatnot. But if you delete that and you can put other things in there as fracture sources, including splines or other models or cloners, or in Noseman's suggestions, a matrix object, which is basically a cloner without geometry, because you don't need the geometry. You just need the translation of various points. So you use a matrix object in cube mode as a fracture source, and you get a nice QB fractures.
I like it. And in fact, that is what I am going to attempt doing here. This is possibly a tip that I learned from a Noseman tutorial too. So we'll the knowledge is just is dripping from the nose.
Good Lord.
And all right. So I think that what we were saying is that everyone knows that you can go over to MoGraph, create a Voronoi fracture, and drop some geometry in here.
Fracture.
Look at that.
And now
That's
we've got it
coolest
fractured. And where is this fracture coming from? It is coming from the Voronoi fracture sources. It's made a point generator that has all of these points kind of just distributed randomly about, and you can dial up the number of them if you want it to be a whole bunch of fractures, and so it's like breaking into glass or whatever. But instead of using this point generator, I'm going to delete it altogether, and I'm going to create a matrix object as recommended. So
Now, I have to check. Michael, are you okay? He said Voronoi a lot, and that feels like a very punnable word, and I haven't heard anything out of you. Yeah.
Well, how are you going to pun Voronoi?
I don't know. I feel like you could do it, and I'm disappointed that you haven't yet. Fair Voronoi,
my
where we lay our scene.
favorite theoretical mathematician.
I'm sorry I interrupted you for that. I just wanted to shame Michael for not being Michael, as Michael as he normally is.
Friggy Chillweather says that if it doesn't involve an icosahedron, it's not proper Noseman.
Frigby Chillweather, you have the best name in the chat. Congratulations.
Best name in the
You won.
chat is by far.
Congrats. Where's our drop for best name in the chat? So I have scaled this matrix object up like this. And because I think this mesh is pretty small, this matrix object is rendering as this very big Rubik's Cube set. But if this were a larger object, you wouldn't really see those. So I'm just turning it off here from showing up or rendering. And then I'm jumping back into my Voronoi fracture object. And then under sources, I'm going to drag that matrix down into it. And once I do, look at what we've got now.
Stu did it.
Stu did it. Voronoi-ing.
Am I right? Pulled through for
And
us.
Sigma Daddy wants to know what system specs you guys are using and says the Roni Fracture looks quite powerful. It's actually not as computationally intensive as it looks. It runs pretty quick even on crappy systems. But
I want that statue in my office, though. That, with that colorway, everything about it.
That's a great Hashi statue.
I like it. So let me just...
Hashu?
Hashtag hash stat, whatever.
Who's ready for one of my favorite visuals, which is when you are trying to track a face, so you use After Effects' face tracking, mask tracking to isolate your face, pre-comp it, and then track it and get tracking markers all over it, and it just looks like a weird nightmare. Which you can see more of these nightmares like this in our face filters in After Effects episode that we did. But I'm doing this so that I can make sure my face is being tracked and not the background, because I'm a human and I may have moved a little differently than the camera tracker would expect me to.
It's beautiful.
So,
all right. I'm scaling down my matrix object and trying to just get the rough number of, squares that are appearing in that Doctor Strange moment. I can't remember. Let's see, do I still have it pulled up? Let's see. So in their case, we've got, I feel like there was some weird stuff happening with, like, some of him is turning to stone as it happens.
Yeah, it looked like that.
Like, okay, so we've got, what notably they've done is they've kept the eyes kind of together, which is nice. And then look, as these pieces fleck away, they're turning into,
it's not bad.
Like, it looks like, like quarried stone from the Getty Center or something. So I'm going to try to find a good placement of this matrix object. As I drag it around, you'll see the Roni updates just a moment later. And somewhere we'll find a nice alignment of these cubes so I can have one eye on one cube, one eye on the other, and these other pieces of the face just kind of like that. That's pretty good.
Netflix this year. That does look pretty good. Real quick, can I tell a funny Getty Museum story?
Please do.
My son went on a field trip there when he was in the younger ages of elementary school when we were in LA. And he came home and he was just appalled. He was like, and he said this as he was like, we were like, how was the Getty Museum? He was like, it was fine. And he like looked around and he leaned in. He was like, there's so many statues of naked people, just like naked people. Like, he could not understand how they were like, it made me happy. It's just like, they're all naked. None of them. He kept coming back to it. It was very funny.
Come on. We watched Fern Gully yesterday for the first time, just to with the kids, and Sophia was very incensed that they're like, you're not going to put any clothes on this girl fairy? Like, come on, like, a man wrote this.
Oh, Sophia. I love her so much.
So we'll watch Avatar and Dances with Wolves next.
Oh, look at this creep, guys.
Oh, what a
wow.
What a weirdly creep.
Why is he so gross and bumpy?
Oreo.
This isn't your morning routine.
Yeah, this is. You need some moisturizer. Was that where I get rid of the normal? Somebody say the normal. Well, I don't have any normal. But you don't have that in Element. It isn't. That is a Cinema 4D issue.
I'm really obsessing over the placement of my cubes.
Yeah, you had it decent a minute ago. Now you've screwed it.
Let's see if we can undo hike back to that.
Meanwhile,
stage.
Hashi Oreo says if you use the comma and period key while a YouTube video is paused, you can go frame by frame, which sounds like it might be handy.
Oh.
Jesse Rogers notices that Dr. Strange's hair stays pristine because the animator's like, nope, not doing this fracturing thing on the hair.
Thank you. Well,
yeah, no thanks.
Well, too bad, because I'm going to.
And I don't. David Fairchild says, I'm going to answer you in the chat, David Fairchild.
It's a family show, David Fairchild. All right. So I'm going to go to my Roni Fracture, and I'm going to go ahead and say, let's see here, selections. When I create this, I'm going to check a little box because I want the outside faces and the inside faces to have their own selection tags, so I can put a different texture on the inside of all these lovely cubes. I'm going to go to the object here, and I'm going to uncheck colorized fragments. And I think I should save this, first of all, would be really cool. Let's save this as Hashi head. All right, I'm going to save this one while everything is still in the Roni, and then I'm going to increment and save, Control or Command Alt S.
Increment and save is one of my favorite commands. I use it all the time in both Cinema 4D and After Effects.
And life.
I wish, man.
Let's see. Do I need to check
Seth,
optimize
you can put a
and
tiny
close?
Seth in your eye.
I could just keep looping.
Oh yeah, we need a looping.
Just into Seth's.
I look like Castaway Tom Hanks before he hit the island. Like, I'm trying to know, what is it I look like? Like,
Wow, look at that! Look at this bizarreness.
Captain
See, like
Phillips.
already we've achieved a Multiverse of Madness. I can't even remember what it's called. All right,
I
so
like the plastic surgery you did in your lips, so that's probably my favorite part. Your lip plastic surgery is on point.
Me or Hosh?
Hosh. He's the one who was trying to plump his lips up earlier.
oh, I just want full lips, like my youth. Let's press.
You know, if we did the show 2 years ago, I would have been able to send you a free sample of the lip plumper my spouse used to make. He used to make organic face and candles and face products. He had an organic
Well,
lip
what's
plumper.
stopping him now?
Yeah.
Children.
I'm dying over here. Oh,
We have children, and we do
Fair,
not
that's
have
a good
time to run a little
excuse.
shop anymore.
very good excuse for most things.
Little shop of lip pump. Nope. But why am I not muted?
All right, wait. Before I go ahead and I want to bake this, but I also want to. Let's see. What have we got here? If I play this, let me throw just a physics tag on there real quick, just so I can see what happens. First of all, I would need a floor or something that'll just fall off, right? Oh, yeah. Hee hee hee. Wow.
Flawless. Check out that.
Done.
The difference between these two eyes. Can you tell which one is real?
I can't.
Yeah, you do.
I've also created by
Gosh,
accident
that's
quite an amazing frame.
absolutely wonderful.
I kind of like that I'm like trapped inside my own fragmented body here.
Minted. NFT.
I don't know what I did.
Gas fees.
Why is that happening? To be honest, I don't know. Okay, so optimize, close holds, and now I want to apply a texture to the inside faces of all of this stuff. And I don't remember how to do that. I don't remember if I can do that up here or not.
Oh, you just make whatever texture you want, and then tell that texture to use the selection tag of inside faces.
Wait, so if I
So
add
just make a red texture just so you can see it, like bright red, brighter.
Boom, right.
Yeah, like bright red.
All right.
Okay, just so you can see it, and apply it to your mesh,
Mm-hmm.
and then use the inside faces see the selection section right there. Yeah, drag the inside faces to there.
Oops.
Drag that down. There.
Oh, wrong one. And inside faces.
Yeah.
And on this one,
You shouldn't need to do anything.
that one shouldn't need anything. Great. I love there's that one little tongue hole.
Little tongue
All right.
hole.
Never hurt no one.
Okay.
I'm going to, now that I've got this fracture going, I'm going to, how should I do this? Do I want them to be colliding off of each other during this? Let's go to the project settings and turn off gravity, because that's something we can do here and in the multitude of whatever. I've lost that. I don't know what things are called.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Boom.
You can adjust the collision radius, as Frigby Chillweather mentions in the chat, because of how the scale is, and it'll keep the pieces from exploding off each other.
That's a good call. All right, so that would be under here, and the collision radius is...
Try size increment.
Ooh, is it an animal?
Now, why do I have one... Why do I have one, Whoa, I have one piece that is the whole freaking body.
I'm
guessing it's from a messy mesh.
That's true.
Mesh. Do we have
this
that?
mesh is... Dear...
Wow.
It's minted.
Wow.
Gas fees.
Wario.
NFTs.
Yep.
Bored apes.
Wow. Okay. So somewhere... Let's see. So how do I optimize this mesh more before I do all this to it then? Let's see. Well, first, I love that this looks a little bit like a hand. All right.
This is weird. I don't know what to do with this. This is its own kind of...
Maybe it's this giant mesh hole. Let's go ahead and go to poly mode and...
I have plans for what to do with mine, but right now I can't stop looking at this incredibly weird, upsetting thing, which is just
I think it's
paper mache
man.
me. I don't know why this is so hypnotizing.
Now, what am I looking to do? I'm trying to wait, how do I... Michael, help me. I need to close the holes in this object. I thought it was just something right here. Close polygon hole.
Do you have polygon holes?
Right here. I got this...
Oh.
The bottom here and this whole back piece. Which it's being optimized and closed by the Roni, but...
It is a closed polygon hole object, but I think that mesh is going to... Because you've got that massive polygons and tiny polygons all together, I'm not sure you can easily bridge that.
Because when it's in here and I have optimized and closed holes, it is doing some of that work. Like it's trying to... see, there we go. Like it's trying to patch that up, but that wasn't enough for it to become a bunch of solid cubes for whatever reason. Maybe my matrix object is not... There's a grid. How do I... Can I change the size of my matrix preview things?
Yes.
Where?
Go to transform tab.
Mm-hmm.
Make it 0.1 on scale.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going way overboard with all this. So this matrix object probably doesn't need this many pieces. Let's just go with 10, 10, 10.
I want to see if you've got a double mesh there, which Noseman has also mentioned. If you select a polygon and hit UW, I think, it'll be select connected, and then you can move them all, outside the fracture object. Then you can move all of those just to the side to see if there's a double mesh happening.
Oops. What am I in? There. Object mode.
Yeah, you need to be in polygon mode.
And then, let's see, polygon mode.
Select one polygon.
Mm-hmm.
UW, I believe it is. Select connected, then move that all to the side, and then you should see if there's another mesh inside.
Whoops. Oh, what am I doing? All selected.
Well, that's weird.
What is happening here?
Go to your move tool and see what the settings are. No, that should be working.
I love that I did this for the thumbnail with Seth's head yesterday and had fewer problems than I did.
That's how it goes.
As I'm crashing and burning on this live run through. What is going on with you, Mesh? All Okay, so but mesh add. Why would I not be allowed to
move it? No idea.
use the close polygon hole thing? Select. No. Deselect all. Because I just want to do this close polygon hole deal. But I don't remember why I can't. Is it confused? Face I'm reading the chat desperately.
You can use a bridge tool to specifically say close from this polygon to this polygon a couple times.
What is that delightful sound? All these ghost points. This object locked because of something I did to it. What have I done? I've done something that breaks something. I don't feel like it's locked anywhere. I've just come to a complete dead standstill. What are you doing over there, Seth?
Oh, so yeah, I didn't feel like I ever had anything worth like interrupting you, even though I did a few times to like get into. But I have these two scans of my face. I have, and they're both problematic. This is the one that's like my whole head, and then I have this one that is closer up of my face that actually it's got more detail for up close to my eye. It's still not show ready, but it's there for the experiment. I'm just kind of so I'm lining it up with the element I currently have, the model I currently have in here to see if I can. So here, I'll just leave this one on, hit OK, and see how it tracks onto the. Oh God! Oh no!
Well, these all would make great horror movie effects.
This is like Hannibal Lecter or like 800%. Look at this.
All right, so I think I just quickly copied the mesh to a new comp without the Roni fracture, and I'm guessing that because I had moved it into the Roni, realm somehow, that it's been trying to. It got locked somewhere between taking it. Like bring it in and out of that space a bunch. So I'm going to go over here and use the close polygon hole tool separately. And I don't know if there are others. So I'll got some weirdness there. It's very not ideal looking mesh. Got some gross stuff happening here. Pieces coming down it out. All right. Let's copy this back to new little project right here. So we've got a mesh of Hashi's head right here. Let's create a matrix object like this that's maybe 10 by 10. Whoops. 10 by 10 by 10. And let's scale that matrix object up. I just want a bunch of points that are distributed sort of throughout this whole model like that. See? And then, now that they're enveloping all of that, let's add a MoGraph Roni fracture. Put the Hashi mesh into the Roni fracture, and on sources, drag down matrix object into here and delete that point generator. And now we should be back to sort of where I thought I was before, right here. It does feel like there's a double mesh thing going on, right?
Yeah. I can't tell.
Or is that a Roni display issue? I can't tell. I don't know. We may never know. Let's align this matrix object so it looks a little bit better. Each of the eyes get to be on their own cube. Oops, let's move this up a little bit.
Did you connect object weld stuff yet? Because might need to make a wider. I don't know. It's you have to have double mesh going on. That's 100% double mesh artifact issues. Where it's flashing like that. Ah, Seth, your eye.
My eye.
All right, so I'll throw it into a connect object, and I'll dial up the weld tolerance, right? Or do I dial it down? Because I want it to be smaller increments, right? Wait. You see, smaller increments would mean that it's going all the way down.
Hang on. My mom would always make me look stuff up instead of telling me the answer. Right click on that property that says tolerance on the name and go to show help.
What is this?
And that will take you to the help document. This is on almost every parameter in Cinema 4D. If you right click and show help, it will take you to the help document of that particular.
If Noseman is in here with a knife or something, I'm going to be very frustrated.
So there you go.
The weld option. Read it.
If the weld option is activated, the setting will define how far apart objects' points can lie to be welded. Do not set this distance too large, otherwise not the points of different objects to be welded will be affected, blah, 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 blah. So bigger means more points welded.
All right, so I'll dial that up to about here. I'm not seeing any real adverse effects when I have that on or off. So I am guessing that there are things happening that are pretty inconsequential numerically, but they might be helping, mathematical, or, in terms of fidelity here. So if I pull that out and throw it back into my Roni, delete that cube. I don't know what that came from. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing that. Hey, there we go.
The Z fighting is gone.
The Z fighting is gone. I had never heard of it referred to as Z fighting. I like that.
Noseman just popped that term into the chat.
The Z fighting.
Well, because you've got two polygons in the exact same space. Now, in this case, it's on X, Y, and Z. But
perfect.
It's from when you have two planes like right on top of each other, and it's never sure which one it's supposed to be showing you.
I do love that all of our viewers right now could be aware that during, our initial setup and smoothing out of what did I do? Got it back.
Nope, there's your Z fighting again.
So was it a matrix object size issue? That means we're just going to go with that's still fine. I don't know what I did. It's a weird delicate balance. Don't know why. All right, let's go with this. And now we're going to do that thing that I was doing before that I thought I would have done frickin' hour ago. All right, so we've got our Roni Fracture. Let's go to selections. Let's do the inside faces like that. And then we'll create a new material. That's just sort of a boring
I
color.
don't know who this Frigby Chill other person is, but they need to be in our chat more often. They've got fun stuff to say today.
I like that.
Probably Ryan Reynolds.
Probably.
Frigby Chill Weather is an amazing fake name for Ryan Reynolds.
All right, we got this. We've got Roni object, optimize, and close holds. So think about that for a second. It's done that. And now this thing is on the inside faces. And I'm going to save this as Hashi had 04.
While Hashi is doing that, Seth, the chat is suggesting that you add some lights or environment multiplier to your element to make it light up more to match. And someone else suggests just masking around the eye part itself on the last one, so you don't have to try to match it as much.
Okay. Are they watching my side? Because the second one I literally was doing for the past 10 minutes. And
I don't think they were.
Suggestion. Well, guys, I'm half the damn screen, you know? No. The other thing, the first thing is actually what I'm doing right now. I have an environment that is... Here, let me turn these back to what they were. That is that 360 that I shot of my office just now, so it matches the lighting because I shot it right when I shot my scans and my plate. And I am trying to make my skin tone at the very least match as best I can my skin tone in the plate. And I'm going to do that with some Colorista just because that's my go-to for temperature intent. Needs to be cooled off a bit, and my skin needs to be a bit pinker because I'm a white man. And
all right. I have added added a physics tag to this Roni Fracture. I turned the gravity off in this scene, and I've added an attractor with a negative value and a little bit of turbulence, which I'm going to turn the frequency pretty low on. I just want to see if this does what I hope it does. Yay! Thank you all for bearing with me.
Quick tip people were asking about, or if I should mask around my face. I did that with that track solid that I originally did to when I was first tracking my face. And I had it create this solid. I drew a mask around it, and I'm using it as a track mat. Actually, what I'll probably do instead of using it as a track mat is I will pre-compose it as my eye mask, and I'll hit to collapse transformation so that I can use it as a reference layer for the set matte effect. So then I can bring it into super comp later. So I'll say set matte to the eye mask pre-comp. And now it's only using my eye from that model, from that element layer as it moves in. And
oh, nice.
And you can clean up those bumps with Cosmo, says Matthew Pencala.
Oh, actually, I could. I also think I might just bring it in Cinema 4D and smooth out the surfaces a bit and then bring it back in. And then I'm going to get an eyeball model, like someone who will pose for me. No, on Sketchfab, I think I can find a good eyeball that I can just replace my eyeball with. I can leave my eyelid and stuff. And so it can be like, because it's the last thing you're going to focus on as we move in. And so it'd be good to have a lot of detail in that thing, I think. What do you guys think?
I think a little bit of extra detail would not hurt.
Wouldn't hurt. There are some amazing...
Your cubes are breaking apart nicely there.
I am liking this. Now, Seth, when we wanted to rush and make a thumbnail for today's episode, I swear this came together in like 4 minutes, but I might be wrong. But anyway, here we are, everybody. I've got this head slicing apart, which is really cool. Let me increment and save this, and then show some other fun things that you could do. Like if you had this attractor and, it had, you could do this with fields, I'm sure, much better, but I haven't learned about fields. I could maybe animate, like add some keyframes so the attractor starts way up high and then dips down low, and then maybe now I'll get a total recall moment. Let's see. Not what I thought, but fields would be a better way to do this, to do that total recall shot. But I dig where this was previously, so I'm just going to undo back to around here, and let's save this all out as... I'm still afraid to render stuff in Cinema. Kill me. Let's go ahead and let's just say, oh, you know what I could do? Now that all of these physics and whatnot are happening, I could go to the animate window, just grab all of my these bouncing around pieces like that, drag them into here, and then go to functions, bake objects, and I'll grab their position and rotation and just say, okay. And I'll bake that for a second. It's going to bloat the size of my cinema project, but if I just say, let's see. Oh, and it made copies of them all? I don't want that. I want to function bake objects, but I want to not create a copy. I want to bake the expressions from there to there, clean tracks, position, rotation, animate parameters. And now let's say, okay, that's going to bake that out. Wonderful. And now I can just save this project like, let's save incremental. It's going to have a lot more keyframes on it, but these are all the keyframes of the head falling apart, which is kind of cool.
This is the least horrifying. Oh my God, that's awesome. This is the least horrifying I've ever gotten this effect to look. Like, it's still not good, but it's getting less and less bad, which is the goal with visual effects.
Ooh, look at that.
That is the goal.
That eye looks pretty good.
Just need to feather the contact point somewhat.
Oh, a bunch. I've got a channel blur effect on it that's helping a lot. I need to just do some more and keep adjusting the color on it.
That is looking really good.
I mean, not show worthy, but good enough. It's getting better. It's getting less bad.
But like again, it's a camera move that is impossible to like pull off and keep things in focus and get parallax when you're that close to an object.
Yeah, because when you get that close, like they do in the trailer, and I assume in the movie itself, you need a macro lens when you're that close. But you can't shoot with macro lens that far away and have things look that way. So you must switch somewhere.
I want to crank up the sharpness on my plate and see if I can match the like super weird sharpness.
Crank up the sharpness.
Let's add an eyeball.
Always a good choice. All right, what's a good weird multiverse of what the heck is it called? Multiverse of Madness?
Multiverse of Madness. I mean, it's really not that weird, but it's you're doing your best.
Pretty sure Multiverse of Madness is what Simon calls this show.
It was original pitch.
Yeah.
Elements 3D stuff. I know it created a normal map for me in here. I'm curious what that will do. The normal map, of course, brought back all of the stuff that I unsmoothed because that was from the original scan. I didn't.
I don't want that.
Yeah, wait, no, that's okay. Let's get rid of that. I'm gonna interpolate this with the auto normals here, so I can set the threshold up higher and maybe smooth out this mesh a teeny bit. That's a little bit smoother-ish. And then for this interior texture, let's just, so it's not gross like when we did Michael's birthday cake, which was remarkably similar to this process too. And that, again, like happened in like 10 minutes. And for whatever reason today, I couldn't make it happen.
Your problem was the double mesh issue. That's what took so long.
It confused the heck out of me. I didn't like that. Stone fungus. Huh? I think that's that seems appropriate. So let's just go ahead and say, okay.
The chat is on point today. Matthew says, remember, Seth, it only has to look real with unrealistic amounts of motion blur, not without.
My kind of guy.
Hey, I think it's done. There we go.
Perfect. This is our Total Recall episode, basically,
is.
just all the way
Hang on.
through.
Make it bigger, and then you can mint it. Gas fees, NFTs, shill.
Create. Let's do that. Speaking of,
Oh, it's creepy. This is creepy as hell. We got to go wide and see the other eye while I do it.
Yes.
Igor.
My husband was trying out some colored contacts this week, and he would walk in and go, "Which do you like better?" And this is what I'm thinking with your eyes right now, Seth, looking at this model.
They're all bad. I hope he looked a little better than this.
Honey, if you're watching, you look way better than that.
I'm going to assume you're talking to me.
Yes. Turn on a bit of that. All right. I'm going to throw some lights into this business to kind of match where I have lights in here.
Oh, Seth, you should 100% add some deformation to that eyeball. Some nice noisy warping.
Yeah, how much?
Don't do that. Don't actually do that.
Okay.
All right.
Just make it
I'm going
shoot
to
out of my
turn.
eye.
I'm adding a camera, and I'm going to add some keyframes to it. Let's see what. This camera has a pretty high zoom, but I feel like it has a pretty low one in the movie, so you can get a lot of cool distortion. Okay, so let's start.
Yes, it was a wide-angle lens, and it
from
gave
like
some very good distortion. Yes.
Here, maybe, and then just to test out, let's say position anchor pointer around here, and then by about. Oh man, it goes wild. But how many frames did I animate? I think 180. So I really only want it to get about to here. So I'll do a 3-second shot. Let's trim this to the work area. Let's move the camera in as this happens, and let's start to orbit the camera down like that. I feel like that's kind of what's going on in the trailer. Let's see, let me maximize this a little bit more, and let's play.
Oh, Hashi.
Yes!
Hashi.
That's awesome.
Oh, gosh.
You did it.
I'm so mad this took 10 minutes yesterday and took the whole show today.
Now you've got half an hour to do something else. Like the background behind you.
All right, so, yeah, background behind. Let's
save.
Save, why
Which?
not? Let's save this as element AE projects for today. Let's call this Hashi Show. I should start putting names on these because otherwise they have no context. 311 Strange Hashi Show. And an extra underscore for good measure. All right, so in the Multiverse of Madness, the backgrounds are always kind of wild. But I'm going to start off with, what do we got? Where are those? I'm going to grab some of those sky maps that you're using for Uncharted the other day, Seth. Something like...
Sorry, I've got some cleaning going on in the background, so I'm
VFX is in
muted.
the chat today.
Action VFX.
And they say Hashi for the win.
Not a competition.
But no, it's you versus the emptiness of the
world.
universe.
It's true. Let me see.
Wait. The chat is also giving some props to Seth's for actually not looking terrible. Just kidding. No, Seth, it's looking good. That new eyeball you've added in there has really made it start to turn
More
good.
horrifying? I agree.
All right. I'm going to throw in Horizon, Trapcode Horizon, and I'm going to select that sky mirrored as a map. And so now as my camera moves around, you'll get the idea that there's sort of a space around me.
Yes, that really changes how that shot feels and makes it much better. Huge fan of that. Yes.
And then we could start making it more interesting. Let's see. There were some other more interesting skies in here. Let me replace this with one of these. What do I want? I just want a lot of cool, weird detail. Maybe this one. Is that enough weird, cool detail? Okay, that's a little bit more strange. Let me go into our orient and distort, and I'll just match this a little bit more to the world here. I'll rotate it like that, and I'll rotate the world maybe down like this. So as the camera comes over, we've got... That's kind of disorienting.
Yes.
Okay, and then let's see. We could this fungus texture is actually louder than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to jump into element real quick, and instead of this one, let's just go with, is there like a sandstone? I must have something like that, right? Stone. Oh wait. Stone, blah, 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 blah. It's all too boring. Concrete. That one might be. Let me see if that's a little bit more uniform. It's uniform and boring. One last time. We'll find something. Concrete wall with grunge. Concrete cracked. Oh, that is what I chose before. Let's try this one. And
well, you might just use concrete cracked, but scale it some so you get more detail in it.
That's a good idea. Let's go with this. Let's see. So
that is good.
What if this camera now had its depth of field turned on? And let's add a new null object that will make a 3D object just like that. And then we'll select the camera and the null simultaneously, right click and say camera, link focus distance to layer. That way, wherever this null is, that's where the camera is focused. So if I switch, to a different view to just kind of take a look at where I want the focus to be. Whoops. A little close there. That's such a disturbing effect. I think that because they're clean cubes, you sort of know it's okay. Like that somehow the person is sentient, just getting put through a very bizarre transformation. All right, so let's put our focus layer kind of where the eyes are going to be. And turn up the aperture a bit. I'm going to force it into a little bit of a tilt shifty realm of depth of field. I don't remember what the actual shot does, but I feel like it will lend to the weirdness. And it's catching that eye in focus. This one's kind of going out.
Well, there you go.
Hey, why not?
Oh, except the background needs to be blurry too, because you can't have the background in focus and the background blocks out of focus.
Good call. And what's great about that is that.
And while you're at it, might as well slam Tritone or Colorama or something and give the background a strangey color to shift.
Yeah, let's do that. Colorama, come help us.
Caleb, Natalie.
Caleb!
Anyway, our pal Caleb says, Seth, you could possibly scale up the pupil in Element and reposition the iris and pupil to match position with the other eye, perhaps.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
to your
I have
friend
cleaning
Caleb.
ladies taking over my office. Could you repeat that one more time?
You could possibly scale up the pupil and then reposition the iris and pupil to match the position with the other eye. That's what they're saying.
Oh, it's so funny he's saying that. Literally, people keep saying, you could do this right as I'm starting it.
Right as you're in the act
Yeah,
of doing
so
it, yeah.
what I'm doing is I'm referencing the pupil texture. Can you hear me? Is that loud, that background?
There is a loud hiss, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say real quick. I'm using I've had the texture being referenced in my timeline by Element as a custom texture, and I have it here, and so I'm doing this so I can color grade the eye, just the texture, separately from the skin of the face, and I'm going to now use the bulge effect to resize the pupil, or attempt to resize the pupil subtly with the bulge effect. Thanks to our friends Bulge and
really
Smear.
Close. Now you just need to get a reflection on the eyeball that matches the one you've got in your shot, and I think you're pretty close to a solid shot.
Yeah, it's a good idea with the reflection. I wonder.
That is awesome.
I could just add that custom reflection.
Amazing stuff online.
There's two ways you could do it, Seth. One is to just find an HDRI and rotate it around until you get a hot spot right on the eye. The second is to have the eye in its own group and element, and then set the eye model itself to have spherical reflections and put a white emissive plane just in front of your eye.
That's a cool idea. That's smart. Try one of those.
What is that hissy bird? Are 5 of your kids vacuuming or?
It's in our Slack. My excuse. Yes, someone is cleaning. We scheduled someone to clean our house, and I forgot to tell them to do my office first, and so they're here in my office now. Yes. So yeah, I'm on mute.
All right, trying to blend in a little bit of this colorama-ish thing here.
I think it's working. It's a good color. When you super comp in some optical glow over top of it, it's going to look amazing.
It will. Let's see. Let's go for broke and see if I were to look up. I'll do my image searches off camera for a moment, and then I'll find what I want.
Do you not have safe search turned on?
I don't want to take any more risks. No more risks.
We can never get that moment back, Hashi. That one time that
we can.
Look at this. This is incredible. Sorry, I'm unmuting for this because really fun is doing this bulge effect. I can dilate my pupils.
Oh,
it was really fun.
That's so gross.
This is great.
Where did I save it? Okay. I got a little Eiffel Tower PNG that I'm just going to turn into a little 3D object, and since it's got to be out of focus anyway, let's just...
Oh, Seth, you need to do it to the normal map too.
Throw it way in the background here. For no particular reason, I'll put it between me and that, and then I'll make it semi-opaque. And then I'm just going to duplicate some Eiffel Towers back here. I don't remember what was going on in the shot, but does this
Definitely don't look back at the reference. No reason to look back.
There's no way to at this point. It's like some whole other tab. I don't know where that tab has gone. Let's see, maybe if I rotate this totally like that. There we go. It looked like this. It looked exactly like this, everybody. Multitudes of madness. Wait, no, multiverse. Multi-universe of madness. All right, and for this light, let me turn up its intensity a little bit, but I'll put some shadows in here to get some more cool stuff going on. Let's dial up the ambient occlusion. Yeah.
No.
I'm going to grab this like kind of pinkish random color from the background to tint it with, and then dial it to maybe here.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll type it in 2. Maybe 4 was too much, right? 3. And then let's turn on the shadows. Let's just do some soft shadows for now. And where is my light? My light is... I don't remember. Oh, it's way the heck out there. Why did I put it so far away? I'm going to delete that spotlight, and I'm going to create a new light. So it'll be closer. I just want it to be closer to... And then, should I do underlighting or should I do downward? I know it's got to be a little bit more frontal than that, probably. Okay, now let's go to one of the frames with the splitting up. And let me see. If the shadow diffusion were 0, I'd get these really sharp shadows. But if I turn up the diffusion just a little bit, get kind of that. And now maybe if I can tint this ambient occlusion color a little darker. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to take it. I'm going to call it right there. I could do some more super comping and stuff, but I'm actually going to instead...
I really want to see optical glow in that background, Hashi. Please don't not do it.
Okay. For you, Michael.
Thank you. I love optical glow, especially for cool stuff like this.
It is lovely for stuff like this. Okay, I'm just trying to find a good spot for this light that the shadows will be doing something, but they don't totally betray that this is a photo scan. I mean, hopefully you know that this isn't what I look like, and that there's some stuff going on. But had I filmed a little plate of me screaming and just done like a little cool gradient pass into this, that could have been a really cool effect. I have 2 nostrils. It's amazing. So let's grab element. Let's grab the Eiffel Towers. I'm going to pre-compose them because they're actually just random floating around 3D layers. And let's turn their opacity up, and then I'll group them together, pre-compose. We'll call this junk, and then I will make it a pre-collapsed layer like that. And then I will grab, it's only these 3 layers, which is so cool: element, junk, and horizon. And we'll go effects, RGVFX, super comp. All right, so let us see what we can... Super comp is great for so many things except for being displayed in a half screen format. But I'll take this foreground layer. I'll go to the presets. I might grab something like foggy integration. Oh, that's cool. It's too much. Let me do it like a double light wrap, maybe. And then on the background, okay, here we go, Michael. Optical glow.
Thank you.
Let's dial up the highlights only to around there. Oh, yes. And
Size
turn the
up.
amount down, size up.
I always do.
The size can be wild. We're in the multiverse.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, Michael, I created a matte for my reflection. I don't know. I couldn't barely hear you because of stuff, but I don't know if this was one of your suggestions. Was using the face as a matte shadow and then basically just having the eye layer? I'm going to use that as an alpha channel to then composite my reflection over on top.
That is not one of our suggestions, but if it works, it works.
I think it's going to work. Right. Sorry. Back to your thing, Hush.
I was doing nothing. I'm setting some keyframes on the center of a volume fog element. I'm just putting a subtle bit of volume fog. I love that nothing is subtle here. This is the multiverse of magnitudes. Get that right that time?
There are multiverses inside me.
So close.
So close. All right. Okay, everyone. I'll close my super comp panel.
Save.
this to around here. Oh, save. Why not? Oh, let me open up Supercomp one more time. I'm going to diffuse my volume fog a little bit on this. Let's go turn up the diffusion on that. There we go.
Yeah.
It's a foggy area. Close that panel. And now it looks a little bit boring and purpley at the beginning, but watch as we get to that glow coming behind this guy and the crazy Eiffel Towers. We don't need to see the reference again ever. It looked exactly like this.
It just looks exactly like this.
Seth, I love the way that looked when you had the eye layer turned on, whatever was happening there.
Which one?
You had something. I mean, it was just. It doesn't matter. It just that. It looks
That,
like
the camera in my eye.
Like, oh, beautiful. All right, I've got those little teeny fragments flying off the face. But what I do like is that as soon as these things are little cubes in motion, the face looks really realistic to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't explain why. But
Well, it's because your brain goes, I know that's supposed to be a face, so your brain fills in the parts that aren't quite right. Whereas if it's close to a face, the uncanny valley part takes over, where your brain's like, something's wrong. When it's breaking apart, your brain knows that it's breaking apart and then fills in the other details for you. It's really clever.
that is wonderful.
Thank you, Brian.
Like it is. Okay. So everybody, what Hashi did was we used Polycam and then brought it into Cinema 4D and used a bunch of the mesh brushes to just clean up the mesh, try to get it looking a little bit more like a human head, really plump those lips, always plump the lips. You know, you need it. You know, people can tell right away. And then once the mesh was decent, we jumped over to the back and tried to close as many polygon holes as we could before dumping it into a Roni Fracture. And instead of using the default Roni point generator, we used a matrix object that had about 10 cubes left, right, and up, and then used that as the source to break apart this character. The way we shaded the insides was when he was a Roni Fracture, Michael showed me that you could grab a selection tag from the Roni generator for the inside faces and assign a different texture to it. And once that was done, I turned off gravity and threw a couple of forces from Simulate in there, some turbulence and an attractor with a negative value to push these pieces all apart. And the rest was all just thrown it into perfects an element here and just making up a multiverse city background for this. And I'm pleased.
You should be. That looks amazing.
So good.
So there we are. There's a split apart head. And I even split up my hair, my photorealistic dynamic hair.
That definitely doesn't have any green spill or anything.
None.
No, it's great. Hashi, that turned out so good.
So let's see. Wait, if I went to my element layer.
Are you going to Primac key it?
Let's see. Could I? I don't know. This specifically removing green from skin toned images, not my strength. So I'm going to leave it how it is. I don't know. Whatever.
No, it's fantastic. Don't mess with perfection.
It's multiversitied. All right. So, thank you all, Chillin, for coming and watching this bizarreness. We are figuring out next week. So add Mojo, like the old Red Giant days. Just throw Mojo in front of it, and boom. Okay, fine. That does look a lot more like the Doctor Strange.
Just
immediately.
Knock it back like to 75%.
Oh, knock it back for sure. That's a little too orange.
So I'm at least like, this can be like the Bollywood, like Dr. Unusual. Dr. Unusual, the musical. I like it.
Oh my gosh.
And wait, let's see. And then we could also just throw on, some VHS to make Seth happy.
Nick
Make me
Smith,
happy?
the push apart effector would work if he had, yes, it would work in a way, yes.
The push apart effect. There are so many wonderful effectors and fields that you could use to have a lot more control over this. I mean, Noseman at the very beginning of the episode, like 10 minutes in, built a more complex system than what we ended up doing.
Golly, I can't get over
today.
that.
So please do check out Ask the Trainer every other Thursday, where just huge swaths of knowledge are just being given away for free. It's absurd. So yeah, please do check in.
Please take that VHS. Take that off.
No one needs that.
Harry Frank's disappointed that there's no ecto today. I feel like, Hashi, you could put an ecto just beam going across somewhere in your shot, like to cover up like the bottom right corner of this frame right there where you don't have a body. Just put like a little beam to please Stu effect, and then apply ecto to the beam effect and cover up that part. Or
I'll just apply it like that, and now we have a new thumbnail. Wait, it's almost a thumbnail. Wait. We gotta first. Let's add a.
It's so not necessary.
It's really unnecessary. I'm doing nothing useful. And speaking of nothing useful, next week, that is Michael and I. Let's see. What do we think? What is the value of this thumbnail already?
$1,200. I don't know.
Wait, don't know. I know.
There, that's a good YouTube thumbnail. Yeah, don't buy this.
There we go. Okay. There's an arrow. Wait, I regret everything can't be by the arrow. The arrow's just got to be its own. Wait, let's see. Got to read when it's thumbnail sized, right? So there we go.
Oh my gosh.
Hashi, stop. Tell the people about next week's episode and stop making jokes
yeah, fine.
at
All right.
YouTube's expense.
Next week, we would love to see some of the visual effect projects that you all are working on. We are Sethless next week, and we were going to shut down the show, but we are thinking that this is an awesome community of creators, and we would love to see some of the stuff you are working on, and and Michael and I would love to do an exciting edition of VFX and Grill, where the bravest of you send in your visual effects shots from things that you're working on that you have permission to share, and we will pull them up on the show and just have a fun, casual little chat about some of the ways you accomplished them.
Yeah, so tweet them at Red Giant News or DM Red Giant News on Instagram or whatnot. Just tag us in the things and use the hashtag VFX and chill, and so we can notice you. And we'll be able to start getting some of the stuff pulled together. Give us Dropbox links or whatever, so Hashi can actually have them ready to show. Or if you just don't quite work up the courage to do that during the week and just want to do it live on Friday, we may have time for that as well. But ideally, get it to us, over the weekend. Just tweet it at us or Instagram us, and we'll be able to start pulling a show together. It could be visual effects stuff or motion graphics stuff. We don't need to. It doesn't have to be. We
often ignore, MoGraph over here unless we have a cool. Yeah.
It's a visual effects heavy show, thus the name. But we can do motion graphics too. So yeah, if you got visual effects or motion graphic stuff, and you want us to take a look at it and give pointers and or just laud your creativity, send it in. We would love to do it. This next show of VFX and Grill will be all about you.
Yeah,
it will.
I'm sad I won't be here to.
Look at this. We totally made this graphic ahead of time. Should they send it to Red Giant or to Max on
Red Giant News.
Red Giant News.
Use the hashtag VFX and chill.
I'm sad I won't be here for VFX and Grill because I also think it's very funny that the second I go out of town, you guys are like, we would love to actually listen to you all and talk about all of you instead
now
of
that
us.
Seth and his big-headed ego are gone, it's time for you, our audience.
Big paper mache head, or my big eye, if you will.
Speaking of your big eye, Seth, you looks like you're close to like a decently finished shot.
Part of me actually feels like if there was a big blood scar, you'd forgive how this looks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think you just need a slight blur on there to just try to kind of knock it back some.
I mean,
and
you've got some geometry that lines up nicely with your head. Couldn't you I mean,
it's.
well, I also wonder,
you put some practical something over top of it, like you said, the blood, and it would be
that.
Yeah.
And I also need like a bird to fly by in the foreground to wipe it or something.
But,
just like
thanks, John Woo.
someone with a vacuum cleaner just walks right past.
a dove. Yeah, someone with a vacuum cleaner. A dove with a vacuum cleaner comes past and just like
Perfect.
wipes through, and it looks fine. Speaking of doves,
that is how Hitchcock did it in Rope.
It is vacuum cleaning doves. Speaking of doves, there were many doves used in Mission Impossible 2, directed by John Woo. Speaking of Mission Impossible 2, we have something to show you again to take us out for the show, right? I think we should watch our Raptor clip one more time.
I think
We should watch the Raptor clip to close out the show 100%.
To cleanse the palate, if you will.
Yes. So,
Now, you tell me. What were you going to say?
no, I was just going to say, well, the thing was up. Send your visual effect or MoGraph shots to Red Giant News at whatever social platform you like. We will try to gather them together.
I need a big arrow on mine, pointing to yours. That looks like this. Boop, boop. Oh no, Roto Bezier's on. It's going to be a fancy arrow.
Darn you,
That's actually going to be something we don't want on the show. Whoops. Bye. Nope. For the sake of the gag, let's do this.
We got to do it. And then write "never try this."
Oh, perfect.
Is what would make
Never
this.
try this. It would be another good YouTube thumbnail.
Perfect.
Never change.
And impact.
Impact. You got to go impact if you want with an outer black stroke.
Outer black stroke for sure.
Let me get. I'm getting our VFX and Chill yellow color palette, and
Seth, this weirdo, uses Stream Deck
for branding purposes,
to assign. Yeah, it's amazing. I'll let you describe that if you.
Oh, I have a Stream Deck. I see if I can hold this up. It won't reach. Too bad. It does. I'll share a video later. Actually, I've shared it before, but I have all the whole screen of color palettes, like colors that I can hit, and they'll automatically paste the hex code for that color in, which is good when you have a bunch of brands that you have to keep up with. All right, does that work?
Raptor trailer.
All right,
Raptor trailer. Never try this.
You have to
I want
say
to
it
replace
3 more times.
all of our thumbnails on the channel with exactly what you have there. No.
Oh man. Here we go. Oh wait. Hold on.
We got to hear.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions. And now the world is at risk.
You don't understand what you're involved in. Please don't make me go through you.
That is our show, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.